Welcome everybody, just a quick one. You possibly have seen already this image or read the news that there has been a new car spotted in NIO swap stations. So that's exactly one of the first partnerships that is now testing already the battery swappable cars in a NIO swap station. It's not coming from the NIO brand, so it's not an Envo, it's actually a Chery model, the Chery Exceed, and more on that at the end of the video. I think there's some exciting bit of information about that, but in general what I think this would mean is that NIO profitability for the battery swap network and system is getting closer, and we're likely to hear more and more about that in 2025. I just took the time and browsed a little bit through the NIO app the other day. So here you can see this is a swap station in Shanghai, and it's having the daily usage here that you can see. You can browse through each of the weekdays, having like more than 5 swaps per hour in most of the time. So if you count this up, that's usually around almost 100 swaps per day for such a swap station. I'm checking out a couple of swap stations here, so of course you see that during the night less or fewer people are going to swap, but then it's more than 5 swaps per hour, usually going up to almost 10 swaps per hour, and that's quite a thing. Then that's not only for Shanghai. If you go to Shenzhen, it's also a similar picture. So these are the big cities like Shanghai, where NIO traditionally has been strong. Shenzhen actually not so much, but still, if you look into the swap stations here, you can also see again here more than 5 swaps in most of the hours that the swap station is open. So if you average that out, that brings us to a very likelihood that this swap station is actually profitable, jumping over the 60 swaps per day that a swap station needs. And now here, Nanjing, a smaller city, well, still very close to Shanghai though, but a smaller city in China, a second-tier city, which you can see gets up to maybe 3 swaps per hour in most of the time, but nowhere near as close to where Shenzhen or Shanghai swap stations are. So these are the swap stations in the second-tier cities that are mostly going to look like that, in my opinion. You can go actually in the app, in the Chinese app, and check each of those swap stations. You also get a live view of people swapping and stuff like that. It's amazing. But generally, what I want to make here as a point is that, the smaller cities like Nanjing that are less popular with NIO brand definitely are not breaking even on the swap station side yet. But this is exactly where the partnership cars and Envo will be making an impact on profitability on the swap station network. And that's going to happen in 2025, given that, for example, the first partnership here, like with the Exceed, is likely to go active or live in Q3 2025. And then there's more than these partnerships that are going to happen very, very soon. So that's also the reason I think why NIO will be busy in building more of the swap stations, as more and more of these swap stations are actually going to jump and make a profit, especially if they are opening it up for the partners, because most likely they will be rather paying the fees than the initial NIO users, which mostly got lured into the brands normally, like I said, with marketing stuff like getting free swaps, sometimes for life, sometimes for a couple of years, the way it should be. But now these partners will be made to bring this whole network to profitability. And then on top, what I think is interesting here, the Chery Exceed, if that's really the model, this is just speculation here, but it could be. If that's the case, this actually, I think, makes the bridge to Huawei here, which could be a big deal, because the Exceed brand is actually one car brand that is partly designed by Huawei using some of their technologies and R&D stuff. There are other brands like JAC and so on who are building cars based on Huawei technology, and the fact that it's using here also NIO technology at the same time, that's quite interesting, I think, because it's kind of making a little bit of an overlap here between Huawei and NIO, and what that could mean for whole China and all of the other brands and the whole car sector. I mean, that's a little bit of speculation here, I have to say, but it could be potentially very, very huge. It's definitely not an information that I would take lightly here. I think this is rather, could be a big news going forward, but too early to say. But anyways, if that's going to happen soon and more brands, switch on that and NIO gets profitable, then I think the snowball effect is taking place where the whole rest of the industry needs to jump on board. That's it for now. Thanks for watching and see you in my next videos.